Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, a real estate investment program. Listen and learn how to use real estate to build wealth and passive income streams for you and your family. We bring you experts every day to discuss and answer your questions on everything from single-family homes all the way up to 600-plus unit apartment complexes. And now, the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome to the show. My name is Al Gordon, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. You know, today is kind of a weird day for me. It really is. Now, I know it's Friday, and because it's Friday, it should be like, wow, dude, the weekend is waiting for you. It's all yours. Go out and take it. But you know what? I received some information yesterday. I actually received a lot of information yesterday, but some of the information I received really has me sitting back in my chair and scratching my head. It actually makes me upset. I was going to use a different word that probably would have got me thrown off the airwaves, but it just makes me upset. Let me share with you what I heard last night. Now, as I reflected on Wednesday's show, I think it's very important to have mentors in your life. I think you should have a qualified mentor who assists you with your journey as you move through life. And I've got some great mentors. I really do. I've got some outstanding people that I can turn to for a myriad of different topics. Now, on Wednesday, I was talking about the real estate space, and I was talking about, my journey with selling some properties and working on a 1031 exchange in order to exchange the income streams into another property so that, well, it wasn't income streams. It was basically the gains on the properties. Let's get that right. And in doing so, I would defer any taxes that would be due and payable because I have transacted that property. And I was speaking specifically about folks that I have on my team that are well-versed in real estate. I've got a single-family mentor that I turn to because I know this guy is going to give me the answers that I need to hear. That guy's name is Sorrell. I've got another guy on my team who does the exact same thing, but from a multifamily perspective. His name is Robert. And I'll tell you what, the advice and feedback I get from those guys, it's worth $1 bazillion. It really is, because it causes me to step back and question what I'm trying to do. Am I trying to take the easy way out? Am I trying to do something that's too difficult? It's great advice. But I have other mentors in my life. I have another gentleman who's in my life that I've gotten to know very well over the last 7 years. And this gentleman is not a mentor when it comes to real estate. It's not. That's not what he does. He's actually retired as I think he told me he spent 36, let's just call it 40, let's just go big, round up. He spent 40 years as an educator. He taught architecture in Corpus Christi, Texas. And he was very, very good at it. He was very passionate about what he did. And I'll tell you what, his students revered him. They really did. He told me that he still receives messages from time to time from former students who either just want to kind of give him a heads up on, hey, this is where I'm at in my architecture career, or they just want to give him, just some piece of information that they think he can use. And I had this gentleman over to my house last night, and I'm going to be very upfront and clear with you. This gentleman is 20 years my senior. And we kind of were talking about just, light stuff because, to be honest with you, I just really like this guy. He is just really a neat individual. He's the kind of guy where when he starts talking, you just want to sit back and you want to listen to everything that he says. You want to hang on every word because he not only can convey information at a level that a knucklehead like I can understand, he makes perfect sense in all of the arguments that he makes. But I could tell last night something was hanging on his heart. Something really was. And I just finally said, Harold, man, what's going on, dude? I mean, it's like you got into the ring with Mike Tyson and you didn't get out of the ring in time. And he says, yeah, I got some bad news. And I thought, oh my gosh, here it is. He's going to give me some information about his health, and it's not going to be good because, the gentleman he's 75 years of age. He's going to turn 76 next month, and he's had some bouts with his health. And I've watched him go through it, and I'll tell you what, the guy is a fighter. He is a fighter, and he managed to pull through. And I thought, oh my God, here it comes. He is going to tell me something about his health, and this is going to be like something just devastating. And he said nothing about his health. What he told me was that he had received some information a while back. He didn't say how long ago, but it was a while back, and it had to do with his retirement account. You see, he's the beneficiary of it's kind of a pension, but it's not really a pension because it's linked to actuarial tables and stuff like that. And the thing that he told me was that a while back, they reduced his monthly payment by $1,000, which was a significant hit to his lifestyle. And what he told me last night was that he got a message from the providers that are sending him his monthly checks. And they said, because you're about ready to turn the age of 76, we're going to, get this, reduce your monthly income again by $1,000. And I was floored. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to get back into that story.
Warning. Listening to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show will change your life. We will teach you how to create wealth and passive income so you can be financially free. And now, back to your host.
Welcome back to the show. So as I was explaining to you in the last segment, yesterday I got some information from a dear friend of mine about what's going on in his personal life. And this is a guy that I rely upon as a mentor. Now, not in the context of real estate investing, but in the context of the fact that this gentleman has led a very productive life, and he has helped so many people along the way. And he and I became friends about 7 years ago. And what I realized real quickly was that this was somebody that I needed to have in my life to help me understand what the path forward for me needed to look like with regards to ethics and morality and other things that I think are very, very important. And I'll tell you what, he was over at my house last night, and just to kind of recap the story if you didn't hear it, he mentioned to me that several years ago, the entity that pays him his retirement income notified him that because he had reached some kind of benchmark, they were going to reduce his monthly retirement payment by $1,000. Now, he never mentioned that to me years ago. I mean, because back then, I don't think we were talking about personal finances or anything like that. But last night when he was over at my house, I could tell something was a little off. And what I was concerned about was, maybe there was something going wrong with his health, because his health has kind of kicked him around the curb a couple of times. And that wasn't it. He had received a letter that day from the same entity that provides him his monthly retirement check, saying that next month, when he turns the ripe old age of 76, they would again reduce his retirement check every month by another $1,000. And I said, Harold, man, am I hearing what I think I'm hearing? So what they've effectively decided to do is reduce your annual income by $12,000 effective next month, and cumulatively $24,000 since the time that they made that first decision. He said, yeah, that's true. And I said, are you going to be okay? And he says, well, I'm probably going to be all right. That is, until I turn 86. And I said, what? What are you telling me? And he says, well, when I read the fine print in the letter, what it said was that they were going to reduce my monthly retirement check by $1,000, but that my retirement check would completely go away when I turned the age of 86. And I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. See, when we started getting into kind of the root cause of what was going on, because, my mind just, it snapped. I went right to the financial. What can I do to help this guy? Because, you know what? I really care about this guy. I really do. He is a wonderful human being, and he doesn't deserve to have this happen to him. It turns out that whatever his retirement plan is, and he's not even 100% sure what the retirement plan is, whether it's a pension, whether it's an annuity, what exactly it is. He was very sure that if he lives another 10 years, he's going to be without any kind of retirement income. And, at the age of 86, you don't want to be messing around with where's my income going to come from. You see, he was living his life based on the fact that as an educator, he was getting some type of retirement benefit, that his employer of 36, 40 years, whatever it was paying into something that he believed was a pension, which was a lifetime pension. He really thought in the back of his mind it was a lifetime pension, only to find out at the ripe old age of 75, about to be 76, it's a diminishing income stream. And he said, I really never thought I'd be in a position in my life where I was going to be looking for income in the next 10 years. And I said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do, Harold. First of all, we're going to talk about real estate. So we had a very, very great conversation last night talking about real estate, talking about what real estate could do for him. Because, even though he knew what I was up to with my investments, he really didn't think he needed to mess around with any of that stuff, especially at his age, because he thought he was good to go until he got that letter. And I'll tell you what, that letter was a paradigm shift in his life, a huge paradigm shift in his life. And one of the things that he is considering is selling his home, which he has paid off free and clear, kind of that Dave Ramsey mindset, and then taking the proceeds from that and then moving on to property that one of his children owns And it's a good sized piece of property. I think they said it was, 15, 20 acres, something like that. And then maybe building a small cottage on the property so that they could continue to live out their golden years. And they'd be surrounded by family, which, it's not a bad plan. But the problem is the thing that he was banking on, the thing that he was making decisions on with regards to his income streams is not doing for him what it was supposed to do. And at the same time yesterday, I got an email from another Lifestyles Unlimited member. This guy's name is Dr. Jack Allen, and this guy is just like super wicked smart. And I'll tell you what, if you're one of those folks out there that's considering becoming a member of Lifestyles Unlimited, one of the things that Jack does is he does the educational course that we provide, which we call a free workshop. It's an opportunity for folks like you that are not members of Lifestyles Unlimited to come take a listen to what we're all about, what we're up to. And, this email I got from Jack was a Washington Post article talking about how millions of baby boomers are getting caught in the country's broken, and when I say broken, that's with a capital broken, retirement system. Yeah, the Post article goes on to say that Americans who have come to the end of their work lives with no financial cushion or no nest egg, and coupled with the coronavirus pandemic, have scrambled as many Americans' financial futures, but some baby boomers have found surprising ways to cope with the downturn in the economy. When we come back from the break, I'm going to get into this article so you can just see how bad it is when you get to your golden years. Back after this.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. It's time to turn up the volume and fine-tune your passive income plan so you can create the lifestyle you've always wanted.
Welcome back to the show. Sorry, are you starting to get as upset as I was earlier in the show? I mean, it started brewing with me yesterday after I had a chance to spend a little time with my good friend Harold, and found out what was going on in his retirement bubble. And then I got an email from a colleague of mine at Lifestyles Unlimited, Dr. Jack Allen. Now, for those of you that have never heard of Dr. Jack Allen, this guy is like wicked smart. Let me just give you some background on this guy. He's got a PhD in ethics and managerial psychology. He's the recipient of the Malcolm Baldrige Award in 2010. He was a finalist for the Ethics in Business Award in 2015. He has gone all over the country and across the world delivering speeches. He's built a coaching business that he's got hundreds of clients. The guy taught, let's stop talking up Jack, because at the end of the day, when a guy like that sends you an email and says, you need to read this, you kind of stop and you read it, because what he is sending you is something that is very informative. And what he sent me was a Wall Street Journal article that was written by a guy by the name of Will England. He wrote this back in May, so it's still timely though. It is very timely. And what Will is talking about in this article, he's talking about how millions of baby boomers are getting caught in the country's broken retirement system. And it was like a perfect storm for me yesterday, because after getting that email and then talking with Harold, I realized that many of you are not in control of your retirement destiny. And even if you think you're in control, you're really not, because there's somebody out there that has the ability to wreck your dreams. Yeah. That's exactly what happened to Harold. They're going to phase him out. Yeah, they're going to phase him out. So, Harold was like, well, I hope I don't live to be another 10 years. And I'm like, dude, you need to live another 10 years. I need you in my life. I can't have that. So we got onto a path last night where I was talking to him about real estate investing and how real estate investing can change his life, and that by making some strategic moves and becoming a member of Lifestyles Unlimited, because he's not a member right now, but he's going to be, and by going through the educational program, he can see different paths of opportunity that will avail themselves, and he can get himself right-sided. But getting back to this article that Jack sent me, man, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to read you the entire article, but there are sections of the article that I think are very, very important for you to hear, because what this article does is it gives you the perspective or viewpoints of individuals who were kind of floating through life later in their lives, and then coronavirus hit, and it just really knocked them to the curb. It really did. So let me get into this article, okay? So it says, let me get it dead. I don't want to read that. I don't want to read that. I don't want to read that. Okay, so I'm going to start right here because I think it sets the stage very well. It says, they went to work every day and built a life for themselves, put money away in a savings plan, and paid their taxes. Isn't that what you're told to do? That's exactly what I was told to do when I was younger and coming up through the ranks, so to speak. And I know that's exactly what you've been told. Do those things. But then the article goes on to say this. And then they got divorced, or hurt on the job, or sick, or widowed, or just plain unlucky, and found themselves in the same boat as millions of Americans who are now approaching retirement with most of the financial props knocked out from under them. That's how this article starts. And what this article is talking about, it gets into the lives of 6 people that, weren't doing so well in their later years with retirement financially. And the coronavirus thing just exacerbated it. The article goes on to say this. As the big bulge of baby boomers head into old age, as many as half are coming face to face with a new American reality. Retirement means a descent into relative hard times because the systems put in place when this generation was just entering its peak earning years have failed. I could stop right there, and that makes my case. That makes my case that what you're doing right now is ineffective. And you're just one financial catastrophe away from having it all blow up in your face. Or for you younger people, you're just waiting to get to a point of a midlife crisis where you realize that what you're doing for retirement and financial independence, it's either working or it's not working. And one way or another, the whole country is going to feel the consequences of this failed system. It absolutely will. The article says that they talked to 6 Americans, yada, 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 who have come to the end of their work lives with no financial cushion, no nest egg. The oldest is 74, the youngest is 57, just about the exact span of the baby boom generation. And I know he's right because I'm 56 and I'm actually the last year group to be included in the baby boomer generation. So I definitely was taking notice. The article says that they don't discern whether the people they interviewed are liberal or conservative, whether they're rural or urban, whether they're blue collar or white collar, whether they're white, black, brown, red, yellow, orange, purple, green, whatever they are. It takes into consideration none of that. It goes on to say none of the stories is an outlier. Half of American families in the 56 to 61 age bracket had less than $21,000 in retirement savings in 2016. And that was according to a study by the Economic Policy Institute that was used by this article to portray the recent available figures. The article goes on to say this: a less formal study last year, back in 2019, found that little had changed. 40% of Americans over the age of 60 who are no longer working full time, get this, rely solely on Social Security for their income. The median annual benefit being about $17,000. So I just want you to sit back and I want you to ask yourself this question right now. If you've got 21 grand in savings and you can't work anymore and you're going to go file for Social Security, let's assume you're even eligible for Social Security, and that Social Security is going to pay you $17,000 a year, can you live off of that? I mean, can you? Well, maybe if you're married, maybe if you're married, that $17,000 could be multiplied because both of you could get income streams, right? So maybe that 17 turns into $34,000. But ask yourself this: when you figure out what $34,000 provides for you as income, and you've got that $20,000 in savings that you're starting to burn down through, what's your quality of life going to be like? What's it going to be like? And I'm here to tell you, it's going to be more difficult than you think. Every day, 10,000 Americans reach the age of 65. In the year 2024, that number will crest to about 12,000 a day. And every year, fewer and fewer of them have traditional employer-sponsored pensions to support them. The system that was supposed to provide for them is shot through with holes. How many older workers are going to permanently lose their jobs and retire earlier than they planned? How many? When we come back, I'm going to give you an example. We'll be back after this.
As I sit here and read article after article and see TV show after TV show, the normal person out there on the street cannot overcome their fear to get to the analytical part of this whole process. I'm not afraid of, and I'm actually ready for a recession, a crash of value of anything and everything. Why? It is the opportunity to do incredible stuff. But that's my analytical brain.
The United States has a very strong economy. We will return to our basic economic foundation. This is not going to be the end of the world for everyone. But you do need to take some action. And some actions will be more productive than others. And one of the things that I think you can do now is take this time, like you said, Del, people are going to be sitting at home, and you have a time right now to change your life. Make what you have work for you.
You need to get into lifestyles right now.
Join us for our free online workshop. Register at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
We're back with the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. We're here to answer your questions and help you become financially free.
Welcome back to the show. It's one of those days where I've got so much information I want to share with you, and I just don't have enough time to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get concise in this last segment here. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. I'm going to get back into this article from the Washington Post. Oh, and by the way, if you want to read the whole article, it is a very lengthy article, but I think it does a very good job of explaining the perils that we as Americans are facing when it comes to our retirements. And I'll tell you what, based on the conversation I had with Dr. Jack Allen just the other day, he was telling me that the Census Bureau is basically stating that, one of the things that we convey at Lifestyles Unlimited is that 9 out of 10 people, when they retire, their retirement income streams don't allow them to live the lifestyle they had when they were working. And we realize that's a huge problem. And Jack said, you know what? It's even worse than that. He said he was reviewing census data that is a little more current. And he says the numbers are even worse. And that's part of the reason he shot me this article. And I'll tell you what, You don't want to be in that situation. I don't care how old you are. You can change the path that you're on. But if you would like me to forward you the link to the article, I'd be more than happy to do that. Shoot me an email at askal, ASKAL, at LUINC.com. The LU stands for Lifestyles Unlimited. The INC is the incorporated because we're an international company. And of course, you know the .com piece. But just say, hey, send me that Washington Post article, and I'll know exactly what you're asking for, and I'll shoot you back the link. I mean, I'm not going to put you on any lists or anything like that. I'm just going to give you the information that you're requesting. But in this article goes on to say this. At one time, millions of retirees could count on pensions from their employers to be added to the Social Security benefits and personal savings that they had amassed. But pensions have been a dwindling entity for 40 years, long since surpassed by, you got it, individual retirement accounts. That thing the government figured out and corporations figured out were a better avenue for them because they were much less expensive. They did this like 40 years ago. Such accounts are voluntary, which is a problem, and not accessible to everyone, which is an even bigger problem. Just 40% of working Americans aged 55 to 64 participate in a job-related retirement plan. And that's according to a Stanford University study. Since the pandemic struck, as many as half of those workplaces have at least, now get this, temporarily stopped making employer contributions. Yeah, isn't that the neat thing about those 401ks? You put some money in, your employer puts more matching money in. Well, companies like Amtrak, Marriott, major universities, and more have stopped doing that. The study goes on to state that more and more people are tapping into their 401ks early, putting themselves on a path to downward mobility in retirement. Yeah, I'm not making this stuff up. I mean, this is the Washington Post quoting Stanford University. Okay, now the article goes on to say this. They cite the National Institute on Retirement Security, who argues that retirement accounts in the best of times are half as efficient as pensions. The strength of a pension system is that pensions stop when the recipient dies. Thus, those who die earlier help indirectly subsidize those who live longer. And with 401ks and other individual savings accounts, like IRAs, things like that, which collectively are more expensive to manage than a pension plan. You know, I didn't actually know that. I actually didn't know that. Each worker has to provide for an unknown number of years in retirement. And that goes back to stuff that I've been telling you for the past couple of years that I've been doing this radio show, is that you don't know how long you're going to live. There is no label on your left hip that provides an expiration date for you. And you don't know what's going to occur to you in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. Heck, in 2020, when we were all, happy, hey, we're out of 2019, it's 2020, we're doing the New Year's dance and everything, and all of a sudden 2020 seems like this is going to be the best year ever. And then all of a sudden, coronavirus hits, and we have a pandemic affecting our way of life, and people are immediately unemployed or furloughed or whatever happened to them, and their income streams are diminished, and businesses are shuttered, and the stock market tanks 30 some odd % in a matter of days. I mean, we didn't know what was going on. It was serious doom and gloom. Well, the country has kind of pulled back out of that, but we're still not out of this mess. We are not out of this mess. And you know what? Here's the other thing. The National Institute on Retirement Security further states this. They state systems that depend on people making hundreds of decisions and getting them all right, they are not going to succeed. Yeah. Now, the article goes on, and the one person I want to bring up is a lady by the name of Julie. I won't give you her last name. If you want her last name, send me that email. I'll send you the link. She's a 74-year-old retired physician and former college music director. She and her 84-year-old husband have a one-bedroom apartment in the Washington Heights neighborhood of Manhattan. Yeah, that's in the upscale part of New York. Her first husband was an artist, and when he died of cancer, he had no money left behind. For years, she had a practice in upstate New York where she was the go-to doctor for Medicaid patients. The payments she collected from Medicaid were so low that she never really made a lot of money. Now, a lot of us think, well, physicians, they make crazy money. That is not always the case, and that is not the case in Julie's case. The article goes on to say this. Eventually, she gave up and followed her first love, which was music, and got a part-time job directing the music program at a local community college. She made about $40,000 a year. She and her current husband, a retired arborist, lived in another part of New York. In 2013, they sold their house and they bought the apartment in Manhattan where they can live without owning a car. She retired the next year. They pay $1,000 a month just in condo fees and about the same amount for medical insurance and copays. She said it's a crazy amount of money and it eats up a large part of their Social Security, even though she waited until she was 70 to begin taking hers. They never eat out. They never go to a movie, never take a cab. And in retirement, she has been giving piano lessons to students who range from the ages of 8 to 88, and she made about $32,000 last year. And she does it through web-based systems. She says, I really have to work for the rest of my life. Let me say that again. I really have to work for the rest of my life because you're not allowed to jump off the George Washington Bridge legally. And as the coronavirus spread in New York, even just going to the laundry room in her apartment house began to seem too risky. As a former doctor, she worried about bringing the virus into their home and about her husband coming down with it. I mean, this is somebody who was supposed to be enjoying the golden part of her life. And now she's like a prisoner in her own apartment. And I'll tell you what, she's not alone. There's other people that are in this article that are going through the same problem. And I'll tell you what, if you're just going through life willy-nilly and you're just like, well, I just put some money in a 401k, I just put some money in an IRA, I got a little savings account over here, I'm telling you, you are setting yourself up for financial peril. And what I haven't even gotten into in this article is all the concerns about, what happens as you age. The fact that there are people listed in this article that can no longer work because they were let go, because they're too old, because their employer felt that they were too high of a risk and they could hire cheaper labor, younger labor. Yeah, not to mention the people that couldn't work anymore because of health-related problems. That's what happens as you grow older. It's not like those commercials you see on TV where, you got the beautiful senior citizens walking hand in hand down the beach. Not everybody lives that reality. And what I implore you to do is to make an informed decision to make a change in your life, to find out about a different path forward. And we've got that different path for you. We do. And what I want you to do is I want you to go to this website. Go to freeworkshoplivestream.com. Smash it all together, one long word, freeworkshoplivestream.com. And find out how real estate can become a powerful ally in your retirement arsenal so that you can get to a point where you can create streams of passive income that will help you retire yourself, because retirement is really a number. It's not an age. And I'll tell you what, I want you to have a wonderful weekend. And remember, it's not the money, it's the lifestyle.
The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.